Greetings Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Another night, another deadline. I guess we are one night away from hell in Iran. Maybe hell on earth in Iran, maybe beyond Iran. President Trump holding a extensive news conference today on the war in Iran. And it doesn't really make me feel any better. He detailed the rescue operation that resulted in the extraction of that downed F-15 crew member who apparently was hiding out up in a mountainous region, and then talked about the latest ultimatum that he has issued for the Iranian regime. We have all that, plus the assertion that Trump has given up on making Canada the 51st state, while all the evidence suggests the opposite. And a story of inspiration continues as the crew of Artemis II sets a new record for humanity. Stay with me. We'll come back on the other side and start digging into today's top news stories, and we'll do it together.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
I wasn't sure what to lead with tonight. Everybody's talking about this news conference with President Trump, but we're going to push that just to the side for a moment to bring you this new record set for humanity by the crew of Artemis II. They have now flown further from Earth than ever before in this flyby that took place just a little earlier today. This is kind of how it went down.
We recently received confirmation that the Orion spacecraft and its crew have officially entered the lunar sphere of influence. That milestone taking place at a mission elapsed time of 4 days, 6 hours, 2 minutes, and 54 seconds into the Artemis II mission. By reaching this milestone, it means that the gravitational forces of the moon are now greater on the Orion spacecraft than that of Earth.
I'd also like to share that we noticed we entered the lunar sphere of influence about an hour ago, and sure enough, we are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone. Also, earlier we had the Earth out as a crescent out the side hatch and the moon out window 3, and definitely by far the moon is bigger than the Earth.
We recently
Pretty cool. And Canadian Jeremy Hansen on board there too for all you Canuckistanians who are keeping a close eye on this. This is what the moon looked like as they took some new images and sent them back to Earth. Yeah, cool place to visit. Wouldn't want to live there. And let's just dip into the live feed from NASA tonight and see how they're making out right at this moment. Have we got it live? Here we go. Maybe a little lag on it, but pretty close to live, I guess.
Copy. That makes a lot of sense to us, Jeremy. I want to remind you, coming up on this LOS, it will take sit reps in the blind, and as more and more of the moon is in darkness, we will take any report you have on impact flashes.
They're about to lose radio contact.
To say again your last. There's a lot of conversation here, and I was on the other side of the cabin, so I missed all of it.
Look out for impact flashes, and we'll take sit reps in the blind.
Okay, impact flashes, sit reps in the blind. We got it. And yeah, just so you understand what's going on with window 1, there is light coming through the outer hall from window 2 into the inside of window 1, if that makes sense. Like, I can see the inside of the vehicle when I look between the two panes of glass.
Copy.
Ten-day mission. So we still have about, what, 6 days left.
You're getting your first live look at Orion, the moon, and the Earth. Everyone in this picture. This is a live view from the Orion spacecraft. Currently aboard Orion, 4 crew members: Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. And on the Earth, all of us, all of humanity. You can see the moon is starting to get a little bit dimmer as the astronauts are going to pass behind it. Now 6 minutes and 26 seconds away from that loss of signal. Again, we will be out of communication with them for about 40 minutes until they come around the other side of the moon and we can re-establish contact.
And this is a delayed feed, so we're a little bit behind with this, but I'll let it roll because it's all fresh for us.
Integrity Houston, you are 6 minutes from your 40-minute lunar flyby LOS. From all of us, it's a privilege to witness you carrying the fire past our farthest reach. Thank you. Godspeed.
Thank you for that, Jenny. And thank you to all of you for allowing us the immense privilege to be on this journey together. It's quite amazing. And as we go on this journey, thinking about the NASA mission to explore the unknown in air and space, to innovate for the benefit of humanity and to inspire the world through discovery. And as you've gone along on this journey with us, hopefully we're doing just those things. And as we get close to the nearest point to the moon and farthest point from Earth, as we continue to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos, I would like to remind you of one of the most important mysteries there on Earth, and that's love. Christ said in response to what was the greatest command, that it was to love God with all that you are. And he also, being a great teacher, said the second is equal to it, and that is to love your neighbor as yourself. And so, as we prepare to go out of radio communication, we're still to feel your love from Earth, and to all of you down there on Earth and around Earth, we love you from the moon.
Houston copies. We'll see you on the other side.
Okay. And
We will see you on the other side.
with that, we'll see you on the other side of this.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV,
the entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Sorry I wasn't here yesterday. It was Easter Sunday. And I had family stuff, like so many others. But yesterday was an extra super special day. It was a triple header because my son had a birthday recently. My father had a recent birthday. And then it was Easter Sunday. So we all got together yesterday, and I just couldn't get back in time to get the show on the road here. So I was forced to take a night off. So I appreciate you guys being patient and returning this evening. As always, humbled and privileged and grateful for all of you showing up tonight, as always. And I do have a lot to share with you tonight. And hello, Jubilee. You called me earlier and made me laugh. And I will, I think, be able to follow through with the promise that I made that I might have something very memorable for you, for all of you, at the end of tonight's broadcast. It's serious and hilarious. I think it's hilarious at the same time, but also very serious too. Hello, Dog Mom, Lindy. Hello, Dragon, Ian, all of you, and especially to all the haters out there. Thank you for showing up. And I'll tell you, a lot of people are hating what Donald Trump posted over this Easter weekend. Have you seen what he posted? The open the effing strait Post. Oh my. Wicked. Absolutely unbelievable. I can't. This is the President of the United States. Here's what he put up on social media yesterday. Tuesday, he says, will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one, in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straits, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Now, I said the other night that the president speaks both to, he speaks in contradictions all the time. It's like a giant mind game that he's playing with everyone. It is kind of continuing here. And as much as he is sort of giving people bits and pieces of narrative that you can either latch onto or reject at your convenience in order to support him or reject him, but mostly to get people to support him so that they can just ignore the bits that they don't like. It's become very clear as well that he is, well, his words are manipulating markets. And so there's that aspect to it as well, because people in the know, when they know when things are coming in world events that might affect the economy, they know when to buy and they know when to sell on various markets. So there's that aspect to all of this as well. But this one here, just the tone and the vulgar language coming out on an Easter Sunday really did offend a lot of people. Now others, like this guy here, Greg Kelly from Newsmax, some would, some people call him a MAGA cultist. He's certainly a Trump apologist. It doesn't matter what the president does. He will defend Donald Trump to the end, no matter what. He says here, in response to this post that is being so, so aggressively attacked, and maybe justifiably so, but that's up to you. He says, everyone's so horrified at President Trump and his language. He posts all caps, give me a break. This is the way people talk. Get over it. It's barely lunchtime, and I've heard the F word on the streets of New York City a dozen times. Trump is keeping it real. We are going to win. Okay? And then, of course, right below, somebody adds some context, because just a few years ago in 2022, that same Greg Kelly from Newsmax posted, I frown upon offensive vulgarity. I favor a ban, voluntary, on the F word. Should only be uttered in private, in certain situations, never in public. Oh, the hypocrisy. The excuses. I don't know if that's truly helpful, posting stuff like that. War is a serious business, a lot of lives at stake. Thousands of people have died in Iran. The death toll estimate from the protests alone vary widely and dramatically, from like maybe 5,000 or 6,000, which the Iranian government itself confesses to, saying that yes, I think it's about 5,000 or 6,000 they've said, maybe 3,000. The numbers are all over the place, but they're in that zone with regard to public hangings and people being executed for rising up against the government in protest. If you listen to the people on the MAGA side of the sphere, and others as well on the Western side, they will say that now as many as it's gone from like 20,000 to 30,000, 35,000. Now it's at like 45,000 people killed in those pre-war protests where the government of Iran executed people. The most recent executions coming over the last few days. Most prominently, there was this athlete, an Iranian wrestler, who has been executed not in public but in prison. So there's that, highlighted by the media. Here, in fact, I don't have it queued up, but I'll bring it up. Here we go. Iran hangs college student and another man in latest anti-regime protest executions. I'll show you the headline. This version of the story from the New York Post. This is, it's horrific, inexcusable, regardless of what's going on in the country. Of course, the Iranian government seeing the threat as being generated by America, CIA, PSYOPs, information warfare, prompting people to rise up against the government. And I think there is a lot of truth to that. In fact, it's just obvious and it's provable because Trump and Netanyahu both actually took over the television signals at one point and urged the people of Iran to take back their government. And then the protests happened and many people were killed. Now most currently we have this college student and another man. This is Mohammed Amin Biglari, 19 years old, executed early yesterday, and Shahin Vadaparast Kalur, 30, also executed for allegedly taking part in an anti-regime protest back in December. Charged with corruption on earth, arson of public facilities, and collusion to commit crimes against national security. And the protests, the attacks continued. Now here's an image. Some of these, everything suggests that these are all authentic. These are, and viewer discretion, but these pictures are now all over the place. This is the New York Post. Images of bodies in body bags from the massacre of the protesters in Iran. This outside a mortuary. This is not today. This was some time ago, of course, during the first uprisings. Some of these images, and I've said this before, remind me of what we saw during the pandemic. The look, the way they look. Everything, though, that I've been able to determine from these is that these images are authentic. There have been a couple of images released by Iran, which were generated through artificial intelligence, which were then highlighted by Iranian intelligence as part of their information warfare to say, look, these ones are fake. They're all fake. I don't think they're all fake. Every indication suggests that all the evidence suggests that these are real, but they still have that feel to them. And I don't like being in the fog of war because, as you know, we can't really tell what's real and what isn't anymore. Well, it's very difficult. Shouldn't say you can't tell. It's difficult sometimes to tell. So I question all of this, all of it, especially after listening to J.D. Vance talk about the nuclear vests that do not exist. And it just continues the information warfare, right? And it's all being done in the name of freedom. But here in the West right now, I think we're being bombarded with MAGA-focused rhetoric, mostly from anything coming out of the Iran area. The information is very, very controlled, I would say. But, there's criticism, there's political critics online, but some of the stuff that Trump says to me, doesn't make sense. Here he says that the people of Iran want the Trump government to continue, to the military, the U.S. military, to continue bombing, even when they're bombing near their homes. Just listen to what happened in today's news conference.
You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot.
You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped.
I don't think they want the United States to bomb their neighborhoods. You're right, I haven't lived there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they want their houses blown up. Maybe they want their neighborhoods blown up. But to me, it defies logic. I don't get it. Or maybe I do. Sounds a lot like, well, maybe it's like Canada. Yeah, kind of a lot like Canada, with all of the terrible things going on up here in our communist regime, our commie government, right? Yeah, and we need to be liberated, according to influencers like Tucker Carlson. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. Babies and incubators would be the next thing, I guess. Keep your eyes open for that. Because, can't have that either. So anyway, I digress. Let's go straight to the beginning of the news conference today. This happened earlier today. This is not live. I believe, I don't think this is the right one, actually.
Very, very amazing.
Yeah, that's not the right one. Okay, so we're going to go over here to these clips then. That's all right. So, Trump issuing this new deadline says they're giving the United States, he's giving Iran until tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. They're going to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages. Let's bring up this one. And here we go.
Your messaging on the war has moved from the war is coming to an end to war going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages. Right. And we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down or are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages.
And then the defense secretary, who fancies himself the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, did highlight what Trump is calling an Easter miracle, and I would have to agree with that. They managed to extract, save that F-15 crew member that they were searching for. The details surrounding it, as described by Trump, I think are amazing, hard to believe, even to a degree. But here's Hegseth talking about this, and incredible work by the U.S. military to effect the rescue.
A running coordination cell, and the top of it read 45 minutes and 45 hours.
Keeping the phone call
and 56
open
minutes.
with the guy.
For 45 hours and 56 minutes, we held that call open for coordination. From the moment our pilots went down, our mission was unblinking. The call never dropped, the meeting never stopped, the planning never ceased. The president demanded rapid, decisive action. He backed our military with the full weight of his resolve, refusing to let enemy propaganda or tactical setbacks deter us. His leadership ensured that every lethal and non-lethal resource was brought to bear, that our forces had the authorities and the support they needed to succeed. When the president says he has the backs of our warfighters, he means it. And it means a great deal, and it's a big difference on the battlefield. President Trump understands that peace through strength is not a slogan. It is a doctrine that saves American lives. His unwavering commitment to rebuilding our military and restoring the warrior spirit has paid dividends in missions just like this one. Under his command, America projects power with confidence and brings our people home with victory. And that continues today, by the way. Per the president's direction, today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today. And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president...
Reaction varies. Some people saying this is a very positive thing. You know, they highlighting Iranians calling for regime change, cheering. Others, mixed reaction. Alex Jones, who the heck knows where he stands? 1 minute he supports Trump, the next minute he doesn't.
Could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
The entire country of Iran could be taken out one night.
The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
That's what he said. One night. So we're one night to hell. That post up by Alex Jones, who has kind of come out and has been, well, he says that MAGA's got to cut ties with Trump, because Trump is becoming a liability, that he is obviously not well and is suffering from dementia. That clip alone, though, or the entire country could be taken out in one night, makes me jittery. It does. It absolutely does. Because up until now, he's been pretty much President Taco, always chickening out. But this is different. Everything here is different. He says that they can open that strait very easily, that they can destroy the entire country in one fell swoop in like a matter of 4 hours. Here's another clip.
Please, go ahead.
You've listed
Thank
the
you, Mr.
goals.
President.
Who you with? Who you with?
My name is Diyar Kurd. I'm with the largest Kurdish media outlet, Ruda Media Network.
Says he doesn't want Kurdish help.
Mr. President, you said before that you don't want the Kurdish forces to enter Iran and disarm it. Do you still want them to stay away? Or what role do you expect them to play now?
I'd rather have them stay away.
And then,
I'd rather have them stay away, because I think they bring with them some problems and some difficulties. And I don't think they bring death, I mean, you know, to themselves. But I'd rather have them stay away. Please, go ahead.
You've listed
Thank
the
you, Mr.
goals.
President.
Who you with? Who you with?
My name is Diyar Kurd.
there has been a fair amount of talk about whether the Kurds could, be of assistance here, and we've seen videos of Kurdish forces moving toward the area, et cetera, but I don't know. I don't know how much of that even to believe, and I don't know whether Trump really means it when he says he doesn't want the help of longtime ally, their longtime allies in the Kurds. I know that the United States has let them down in the past, sometimes not coming to their aid when needed most. But that's another story for another day. Here's footage now of the Black Hawk helicopters, which this footage claims to show, and an AC-130 military transport aircraft, which were destroyed inside Iran. They were used as part of the rescue operation. The U.S. saying that these are destroyed because they didn't want the Iranians to get their hands on them. There are some statements being made by Iranian officials who are saying that the entire thing is sort of fake, that the rescue operation was staged maybe to mask over efforts to extract or to take the enriched uranium, which the people are saying, or Trump administration is saying, the Iranians were going to use to build nuclear weapons. And of course, Trump's saying that the negotiations are ongoing, but it's pretty clear that a lot of, often when he's been saying that he's engaged in negotiations and his team is talking to people within the Iranian regime, that he's been pretty clearly lying. I don't know whether to take this seriously or not.
This is a critical period. They have a period of, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages. This is a critical period.
So what I found interesting in the news conference today is that as he's talking about all of this, the reporters there, some of them were asking if he was concerned about the criticisms being leveled at him, saying that he is threatening to commit war crimes, asking him, are you worried about that? He says no. But what they didn't ask him is if you are taking out all of the power plants, does that include Iran's nuclear power plant? Would he target that as well? And if so, what would that look like? What might that involve? And if you're going to fire missiles or drop bombs on a target like that, would you be targeting the facility itself and blowing it to bits, or just surrounding infrastructure, which carries the power from the nuclear power plant? There's always the risk, of course, that you could damage the plant and you could have a Chernobyl-style disaster. Nobody asked the question. I think taking for granted that that just won't happen. It's one of the first things I was thinking about. And I don't know that that's an unfair or or even an off-target question at all. I think it's very on target, especially since we've been hearing many people raise concerns about the possible use, even on a limited scale, of nuclear weapons against Iran, because in Trump's frustration, not being able to get the Strait of Hormuz opened, people are wondering how he intends to do that. And when he's saying that the entire country can be leveled in one night, in a matter of hours, I suppose you could, but Iran's a pretty big country. And to do that with conventional weapons, that means a lot of firepower. I don't know how you do that in such a short period of time. First of all, with conventional weapons. Secondly, in such a short period of time. And third, without severe numbers of civilian casualties, which could be interpreted quite easily as a war crime. I don't know where we're at. We'll see where we get tomorrow night. This stuff concerns me. I worry about it. Here's economist Paul Krugman. Yeah, he's saying this could be the end of America, not just
Sunday.
not
America
just Iran.
as we knew it may end Tuesday. Hi, I'm Paul Krugman. Sunday morning update. Yesterday, I talked about how awful Trump's message about glory to God and all of that was, but it's looking much, much worse today. I'll quote Trump in a second. Just think about, I find myself, let me do a Heather Cox Richardson here and talk about history for a second. Think about what Abraham Lincoln, a president who was actually winning his war, said in his second inaugural. And probably all heard the magnificent conclusion, which begins, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in. Determination, humility, decency. Now let me read you Donald Trump's Truth Social post from this morning. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. What happened to us? This is not the country we were supposed to be. If Trump is actually going to give the order for massive war crimes, for destruction of civilian infrastructure, power plant, bridge, which will, among other things, lead to a lot of deaths in Iran, will the military obey it? A year ago, I would have said no. But what we do know now is that, first of all, there turns out to be at least a significant MAGA component inside the officer corps. And we know that Pete Hegseth has been systematically corrupting, dismantling the military over the past 14 months. That generals who raise ethical concerns have been fired. Officers who even just want to be intelligent about warfare and not believe that it's all about warrior ethos and lethality have been fired. That it's quite possible that there's a component of there's a quorum of officers who will follow instructions to commit war crimes. America, as we
I don't think Paul Krugman is prone to hyperbole or hyperbolic statements. He's a pretty thoughtful guy. I don't know. I certainly don't recognize America as it stands. As I've been saying for quite some time, I think that we have sort of two Americas today. Maybe more than that, but certainly a country divided, severely divided, along political, ideological, even religious lines. And this war also dividing people. Certainly you can see that the government in Iran is not about freedom, but I'm not so sure that what we're getting from the Trump administration is about freedom either. So much of what Trump advocates for when they sort of push toward this concept of freedom, I think is so misguided. What you're really getting with MAGA and this Trump 2.0 administration is a march toward oligarchy. Selling everyone on this idea of freedom from the government. And I've said it many, many times myself, you know, the bigger the state, the smaller the citizen. I believe that generally is true. But it's about balance as well. It's about having the right amount of government. There's a place for government. You know, I saw a clip with Pierre Poilievre in, I don't remember if it was the Rogan interview, but he was saying, you know, Canadian conservative leader, opposition leader in Canada. And he said that he wants as little government as is humanly possible. Well, the total amount of government that is, least amount of government that is humanly possible will be zero. That would be anarchy. That would make him an anarchist. I don't think he actually believes that, but that's what he is saying. He speaks in extreme tones these days, with extreme statements like that, in order to get a response from people as he seeks votes. But that is a very kind of American concept, and certainly since the 70s and the 80s, with Reagan, there's been a march toward less and less and less government on the conservative side. But that has been hijacked. It has been twisted from a conservative approach to less government, not no government, but less government control, which is what, you know, I've been promoting. Like those are personal views ideologically. Less government, not no government. The right amount of government, though. Because what you're getting here really is a march toward oligarchy. It's these, if you look at what Trump has been doing, it falls right in line with this decades-long campaign, which is now amplified, more focused as well ideologically through the development of this, I would say, global anti-liberal, meaning illiberal, anti-Western movement, which has become a global populist movement to attack actual freedom and individualism. Because they're taking us to a place through concepts and efforts like Doge to dismantle government, to attack all government institutions, to dismantle government, disarm government, to detooth government, to remove as much government as humanly possible in order to pave the way for the domination of big corporations, the technate, a technocracy, an oligopoly, where the ultra, super, ultra rich have enough money to fly around in giant flying dildos, like Jeff Bezos and his phallus-shaped spaceship, while leaving the individual citizen pretty much defenseless and powerless against these gigantic government-supported, government-protected companies run by evil geniuses, or so they think that they're geniuses, who are trying to reshape the world in conjunction with a few gangster-like leaders like Trump and Putin and Xi and a handful of others. I've always referred to world leaders such as Trump as gangsters. That's the world he comes from, too, as a real estate developer. Oh, when you're dealing with powerful unions like the Teamsters and, Teamsters union can do a lot of good things, but they also have a long history of corruption. Unions in general have long and storied history of involvement with organized crime, mafia, protection rackets. It goes on and on. You take that onto the world stage, you amplify that into a global kind of operation, and that's where you're at with Trump. He doesn't seem to care much about the people, but he certainly seems to care what happens with the stock market. I think he speaks with a forked tongue, like the ultimate politician. He said he's not a politician. Maybe he wasn't when he was getting into it, but I think he was. He'd been campaigning for the presidency since the 80s. Yeah. This guy, his actions in Iran have been a benefit to Putin and Russia. It's given him reason, or maybe an excuse, to lift sanctions on Russian oil. It's been a bonanza for Russia. Not so good for the people of Iran so far, because a lot of them have died. Is he really trying to bring freedom to Iran? Oil companies, too, have made up pretty well, producing less, working less hard, but selling at a much higher price on the world market and actually making more profit than they did before. Less supply equals higher prices, because the demand is certainly still there. And evidence even highlighted by economist Paul Krugman, which we showed you about a week ago, where Trump says something, and then the next minute prices go up and down on the stock market or the crypto markets, and they've been able to graph it. You can see that massive infusions of cash right before an announcement comes down, and then people are profiting. Hard to tell who it is, though, because the data is not that specific. But I think at this point, some people might be looking into it in much greater detail. All of that stuff might just come back to bite somebody in the butt, or maybe a bunch of people. And that's pretty sick, especially if you consider that we have people out there tonight who are profiting from war, putting American lives at risk. Now, I have to take my hat off to the U.S. military and that brilliant operation, or so it appears, to rescue that F-15 crew member. Amazing. And very fortunate for Donald Trump, because had the Iranians been able to capture that U.S. service member, it would be an entirely different situation politically right now, tonight, because that would be a person that would then become a hostage and would be used for propaganda. It would take us all the way back to 1979. A little bit different situation with, one hostage. But yeah, the 79 Iran hostage crisis beginning entering a different phase, I guess, after all these years. Very fortunate for Donald Trump that he has such a competent military at his disposal. But these things should be used with wisdom, with care, and in the best interests of the United States and the free world. That's what the U.S. military has been tasked with since World War II. I'm not sure we're getting that tonight. I don't defend anything the Iranian government has been doing, but you can see the fallout from all of this. And you see what Trump is doing, not just in Iran, but previous to this in Venezuela. You see what's going on in Cuba, or maybe you don't. Maybe that's the biggest part of the problem right now. You're not seeing much. I'll tell you this, I don't think what happened in Venezuela is over. It's over for the moment, sort of over, but it's not over. This will linger. What's going on in Mexico? You're not seeing anything out of Mexico now. Really, it's kind of faded off into the background, but there's still activity going on down there, and it's been very disruptive. And, the tourism industry has suffered. It's a problem. It's been, and it's happening everywhere. And then this whole thing with NATO, this is all divisive. It's driving a wedge between the United States and its traditional NATO allies. He highlighted the cooperation that he's getting from these countries in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain. But he's got nothing but harsh words to say about NATO. Again, even at the end of the news conference today, what's Trump talking about? He's talking about Greenland again. And we've seen Marco Rubio coming out in the last few days talking about NATO and complaining that NATO bases that he says the United States funds not being made available to the United States in the time of need of the U.S. But I can certainly understand why. It's because those NATO bases are supposed to be used for defensive purposes. They're supposed to be used for the collective defense of NATO, not just to be available at the beck and call and the instant disposal of the United States military if the president decides to go on a regime change mission without prior consultation with NATO countries and engaging in military activities that could drag the whole world into a conflict, let alone NATO allies. So there has to be some degree of discretion available to a NATO country when it's being asked to participate or even support a military action that may or may not be in the best national interests or even the interests of other nations aside from the United States. It becomes a little bit more complicated than, hey, we help to pay for those things or we just pay for them outright. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. But, so we get to do whatever we want. We should be able to come in there and just use them for whatever. Well, what if what you're doing is illegal? Well, Trump says he doesn't care about international law. He's not worried about anyone even accusing him of war crimes. But other countries are. Do you want to be held responsible as a citizen of a NATO country for actions that might result in civilian deaths? Maybe hundreds, thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Who knows what's in store for tomorrow? No, I think that cooler heads should prevail and sober second thought is absolutely in order before just granting access to any country, any NATO ally, not just the United States, any country that says, we want to go over here and invade these guys. Oh, well, on what justification? Doesn't have congressional approval, didn't consult with, really doesn't seem like anybody, didn't even go to the American people for over a month to explain the actions in any kind of address to the nation, just recently doing that a few nights ago. And even then, the messaging, contradictory, hard to understand, speaking with a forked tongue again, like a lizard man, a politician.
all began with, if you want to know the truth, Greenland. We want Greenland. They don't want to give it to us. And I said, bye-bye. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
And that's how he ended today's news conference. We want Greenland, and they don't want to give it to us. You know, it's not an exaggeration to say that his actions in Greenland have just about brought the United States to a shooting war with NATO countries. It's not an exaggeration. It's the quiet part that was only being spoken out loud very softly. The messaging, though, to Trump was very clear. That scares the crap out of me. Something wrong. Something wrong. There's this story also tonight. I think CBC is actually the story that broke it. Saying that Trump has given up on making Canada the 51st state because of his respect for King Charles. And Trump's annex goal possibly quashed by his respect for King Charles. Here's a clip from CBC. Let me bring it up here. Get it up on the screen. Almost ready. Here we go.
A new book is offering insight into the role of King Charles. Julia Chapman on this for us. And Julia, the book derives the detail from an interview with the U.S. president.
That's right, David. This is a book written by Robert Hardman, a British journalist and royal commentator. It's mostly about Queen Elizabeth II, but it does also touch on King Charles. And he interviewed President Trump back in December, speaking about his relationship with the late Queen, with the current king. He says the US president asked him what he thought about his plans for Greenland. He said he disapproved, and he said, while we're at it, leave Canada alone as well, or you'll make the king very unhappy. Now, Hardman says the response that he got from President Trump was one of surprise that Canada still has a monarchy, suggesting it wasn't something he was aware of. He says President Trump also lambasted Canada's leaders, political leaders, saying that they are terrible and...
Okay, look, Trump wasn't aware that Canada even still has a monarch. Or a monarchy. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand anything about Canada. He doesn't understand our system of government. He doesn't understand our history. He doesn't understand what we are or who we are. You just heard it right there. Totally clueless, not very smart guy, not properly or very well educated, not much depth there. And yet, just, he's saying that, has been saying that we should be the 51st state. How the hell would he know? He really knows nothing about us other than, I don't know, some cliched imagery that he has in his head or whatever. Have you ever traveled in the United States much? When I've traveled, Canada's not really on the minds of Americans very much. And the further south you go, the less they know. You can go over the bridge, the Ambassador Bridge, from Windsor to Detroit, and I've done this. I've gone over years ago now, but it doesn't matter when. It's still like this today, I'm sure. You go over. I remember doing interviews with people just on the street, random interviews that we put on the 6 p.m. news. Asking people, I would say to people, talking about Canada, what do you know about Canada? In their heads, the people in Detroit, you could see Windsor, you could see the Canadian side across the Detroit River, from where I'm interviewing people, right there at the border. and many of them believe that we live in igloos. They believe that, we get around on snowmobiles. Like they really believe this, and that as soon as you cross the bridge, it's cold, and we live like in a snowy, icy, Arctic country. Not a clue. Not a clue. And you can see right over there. And I would be sitting there talking to the people on camera about the weather in Canada. And gee, it's really cold over there. Have you ever gone over? No, never been to Canada. You can see the Canadian side across the river. And they're talking, yeah. And I said, yeah, you go over there. Yeah, there's a lot of snow. Yeah, I know. As soon as you cross the bridge, it's like instant snow. Like, just really ridiculous. Now, you go down to, like, say, and I have, to Florida or Texas, and they don't really know anything about Canada. They don't get very much news. You could tell them anything, and they would absolutely believe it. Let's continue with this just a little bit, this CBC report on this book written where they're saying the president has given up on Canada as the 51st state. I'm skeptical.
Complained about where the US-Canada border had been drawn, saying it should have been some 50 miles further north, but he appeared to back away from any kind of threat to take Canadian territory, saying that it wasn't something that he was going to achieve in the time he had left in office. Now, CBC News has reached out to the Prime Minister's office and the White House for comment.
The king also set for a state visit to the United States, I believe later this month. Can you describe the relationship between the U.S. president and the royal family?
It's pretty cordial, fairly friendly. Donald Trump said in that interview with Robert Hardman, he thought that Queen Elizabeth liked him, their first meeting together lasting a lot longer than it was originally scheduled to. And certainly he has spoken at length about his respect, his admiration for the royal family. This is really the UK extending its soft power, perhaps in some way in order to improve the relationship between the two countries, which is really at a point of tension at the moment, particularly over the war in Iran. There's been a lot of very explicit criticism from Donald Trump towards British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. But it will be an awkward diplomatic tightrope that the king has to walk. He, of course, goes while this war is ongoing, if it is indeed still continuing at the end of April. But also, there have been a lot of awkwardness around the arrest of the king's brother, Andrew, in relation to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. So a difficult time, perhaps, but of course this is the UK government sending the King and Queen to the United States, and that suggests that this is something they're hoping can help improve the relationship at a moment of difficult diplomatic tension.
To say the least. And the 51st state rhetoric continues. Do you really think Donald Trump has given up on Canada's 51st state? I don't think so. I don't think he's given up on that idea. I don't think he's given up on Greenland. I don't think he's given up on any of it. I think he's just in process. And he still has his minions doing his dirty work. He's still playing chess. I'm not sure everybody's playing chess, though. I think that maybe, just maybe, at some point, maybe he's gonna meet some resistance that's gonna have some real weight to it if he continues with this. I'll tell you this, I'm honestly just kind of tired of it all. Getting real tired of it. Because I see what is going on. And he has an information warfare network set up. He has influencers at his disposal. Not just his disposal. There's an ongoing global campaign. Yes, there is. It's coordinated. And they have everybody thinking upside down, inside out, so you don't know whether you're coming or going, and they've got you working against your own self-interest as an individual, even collectively as countries, societies. It's a war against the West. It's a war against individualism. It's a war against freedom. Not a war for. And I think even some of these influencers that are doing Donald Trump's dirty work are maybe unwitting supporters of it, responding to incentives and cues, or maybe just taking marching orders and repeating talking points. This video, again, this one aimed directly at Canada, which makes me more convinced than ever that the march toward the 51st state goal continues, regardless of what the CBC is reporting tonight. Wishful thinking, I think, coming from the CBC. I'm not going to go so far with a conspiracy theory to suggest that the CBC is in on it, and it's a reversed, double, inside-out, quadruple psyop thing. No, I think that it's just wishful thinking, and maybe just inconsistent language coming from the president through that book. Patrick Bet David. Sometimes I watch his stuff, and I think a lot of the time his stuff has some real value as part of Valuetainment, his media company that he set up. This is an influencer with Iranian background, came from Iran with his family, fled during the era of the Iranian Revolution and the Iran-Iraq War, coming to the United States. I would say very successful investor. His channel originally set up to talk about financial matters, as I understand, but now dealing with all things politics, all things political. This one aimed at Canada, and I'm just left shaking my head at the ignorance on display here. Or maybe it's intentional ignorance, intentional misinformation, perhaps. Misinformation wrapped with truth.
Canada just, in 2025, I want to say October, maybe even earlier than that, a couple guys, this guy right here, they started working on saying some of the stuff in the Bible is hate speech. Okay? Truly. Some of the stuff in the Bible is hate speech. And here's what he had to say. Go for it, Rob.
In this case, the Bible, but there are other religious texts that say the same thing. And somehow say that this is good faith. I mean, clearly there are situations in these texts where these statements are hateful. They should not be used
in the Bible.
Blasphemy. Or be a defense, and there should perhaps be discretion for prosecutors to press charges. I just want to understand what your notion of good faith is in this context where there are clearly...
Yeah, when you have a country without a constitution, this is what happens. I mean, they don't have a...
Whoa. Okay. He's making reference to Bill C-9. What the hell do you call this? Can you read that? The Constitution of Canada. What did that guy just say? This is what happens when you have a country without a constitution. That's Mark Miller, Liberal government, talking about Bill C-9. I'll let it roll. Okay, that's not accurate. He's wrong. I'll play it again. And I don't think you got that clip.
Good faith is in this context where there are clearly...
Yeah, when you have a country without a constitution, this is what happens.
We have a constitution. Why is he saying that? He's either an idiot, or he's ignorant, or he's just misinformed, or he's intentionally spreading propaganda, or unwittingly spreading propaganda. It's not true. It's just plain, simple, not true, sits on my desk every night when I'm on with you guys. I keep it right here. I'm tired of that. Tired of doesn't fix it, but that's the rhetoric that's out there. That's part of the big lie. They keep saying that to make people think that Canada isn't a real country, just like Trump, who probably doesn't even know himself, because I'm not so sure that he's actually the guy in charge, but there he is in that interview with that author from the book who's now being quoted by CBC, having been interviewed by the CBC about the book, but Trump clearly saying that he didn't even know Canada still had a monarch. Doesn't understand how it works, and sure as hell probably doesn't even know today that we have this, because he's being told that we probably don't, and he probably believes it himself. Doesn't understand or know anything about the country or the concepts even of freedom beyond got to have less government, but less government also paves the way through deregulation to the proliferation of an oligarchy, putting all of the power into the hands of the super wealthy elite technocrats, the tech bros, the tech companies, as we march toward this new revolution, march through it, taking more and more and more and more and more away from individuals, pitting individuals just as individuals alone with really your rights and your actual freedom eroded because they're not being protected by the government. That's the role of the government, is to strike that balance. You need some rules, some guardrails, some regulations in place so that everybody's rights are protected. Protect the rights of the individual and make that paramount over everything, not the rights of corporations, who have for a long time just been pushing and pushing and pushing for less deregulation, feeding this line to people that freedom comes from deregulation entirely. Just get rid of as much government as you possibly can, and that will empower you and make you free. In a sense, it does, because now there are no rules binding you, except that there are, because those corporations have property rights and rules, and they can make as much money as they want to, and they maybe don't have to abide by any rules at all when it comes to competition, and they can just distill the system, distill everything down into something reserved for them. The purest form of whatever it is of capitalism, where it can be abused. But that's not actual freedom, and that's not actually capitalism. I'm going to get into that more in another night. Needless to say, an individual person whose rights are not really being protected by proper guardrails in order to make sure that everyone's rights are protected, that's not freedom at all. When you allow certain people to rig the system in their favor to the point where they get everything and you get nothing. That is what has always been highlighted as the danger of capitalism. That's the evil of capitalism, as communists, Marxists would say capitalism's evil because at the end of the day, you get this pure form of capitalism where it's only the strongest survive and the weak will perish, suffer, and will be abused, oppressed. Class warfare. Yeah, if you have corrupt people in positions of power where they can rig everything, that's true. But that's not freedom. That's not actually a true free market. And in fact, when you go and study Adam Smith, father of modern economics and author of The Wealth of Nations, before he wrote The Wealth of Nations, and this is a guy that I read The Wealth of Nations first, his most well-known work, economist from a long time ago. And he talks about the invisible hand and free markets, and it all makes absolute sense, but too many people only read The Wealth of Nations. And not his first book, Theory of Moral Sentiments, where he addresses human beings interacting with each other and doing the right things, because it's not only in their own self-interest, it's also in the interest of their society, their community. And he addresses the need for that and the need to preserve that moral side of capitalism. He wrote that first. Most people don't, a lot of people don't even know that. They just think that it's every man for himself or every person for him or herself. And that's not what capitalism is in its truest and best form. However, in Donald Trump's world, in the world of oligarchy, that's what it comes down to. It's about distilling the system, distilling everything down into something very, very strong, potent, and maybe even toxic. The benefits just a handful of people who get to control everything, so that you have a president who can stand up there and speak with a forked tongue, deliver dual messages to people out there. One message at the same time out to the masses, explaining something about a war, but at the same time including a contradictory or veiled message to others out there who are in the know, so they know what to do and when to do it, so that they can benefit. And by controlling, having complete control over regulations, you can also set the conditions up where certain people benefit and other people don't. The world is his oyster. He says he's portrayed himself as a king over other countries, and then denies being the king in America. He envies the king. He certainly says he respects King Charles, and I think he does. He envies royalty, wants to be royalty. That's where the respect comes from. It's not so much respect as it is envy. Not a positive emotion. And a man with that much power and that much ignorance, where he doesn't even understand what his neighboring country, Canada, is about, or doesn't have the education, the understanding, the knowledge, is just steeped in ignorance as it comes to Canada, and yet has the hubris to call for its annexation. I have a real hard time with this.
What your notion of good faith is in this context, where there are clearly...
Yeah, when you have a country without a constitution, this is what happens. I mean, they don't have the First Amendment.
Let me read this, and then I'm going to come to you. Let me read this, and I'm going to come to you. So you're hearing this, okay? So here we go. Canada wants to make quoting the Bible illegal. This is the Spectator.
It's not true.
2 days ago. Easter's almost here, and Canada's Liberal government has chosen the sacred season to display its utter contempt for Christianity. It's currently forcing through the outrageous Bill C-9, which could make it a hate crime to quote from the sections of the Bible. More than 40 civil and religious groups have asked that for the bill's language be clarified and its scope more carefully defined, so that religious texts would not be subject to hate crime legislation, but all in vain. After a hot debate in the House of Commons, the Liberals high-handedly ended a conservative filibuster. In fact, fast-tracked the bill. It's now been sent to the Senate to decide if Canada is a kind of a country that wants to turn quoting St. Paul into a criminal act.
You look at Canada during COVID, they were going after churches like crazy. And again...
Some. Critical of that. For violating COVID mandates, not so much because they're going after them on religious grounds, but yes, I think there was a double standard employed, and yeah, absolutely, there's criticism to be leveled there, but this is conflating I'm going to let it roll. I have more to say.
And I think this is bigger than politics. I think it's spiritual. I think that Canada has an attack on truth across the board. The world is seeing an attack on truth across the board.
Where's that coming from? Straight out of the White House, man. This is the post-truth era. From the president who has control over Truth Social. Yeah, there's a lot of not truth over there.
Has been touching on it, and I think it's a spiritual war. If you can destroy the idea of gender, if you can destroy the idea of man having value, woman having value, this.
Then I saw a post from that interview from the news conference today where Trump is again talking about the hypocrisy of Democrats because they support, they claim to support gay rights, but because they're critical of what's going on in Iran, it's like gays for Palestine. I know it seems counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense either. But at the same time, man, I don't think that the Christian right is that supportive of gay rights. Okay, so take the hypocrisy and just put it into context.
Sanctity of a child. Like when you think about how out of control abortion is, all these things, and now they're attacking the very script.
So he's signaling to a particular demographic group, but these things don't actually are not directly connected to Bill C9. C9 is about, Bill C9 is a response to a government response in Canada to ongoing pressure and social media influencer campaigns calling for tougher actions specifically on Muslims. Because of all the videos you've seen over the last few years of people praying in the streets, or you see a video of somebody in the middle of Costco praying, or you see the Death to Canada or Death to America chants. I have big issues with that too. But that's what Bill C9 was a response to, or the painting of swastikas as graffiti on the sides of synagogues, attacks on Jewish people, anti-Semitic attacks, growing calls to deal with that. That's what Bill C9 was a response to. But because we live in a democracy, a liberal democracy, not a big L liberal party democracy, I mean a classical liberal democracy where we have the rule of law, where we have freedom, where we have individual rights and freedoms, where we have a constitution. When you write a law, the law must be written in a way that is not discriminatory and it can be evenly applied. It has to also meet a certain standard. It has to go through what is called the Oakes test, which I'm sure nobody on that podcast knows what they don't even know what that is. It has to be able to pass that in order to be deemed fair, balanced, and constitutional. It has to apply to everyone, regardless of their religion, their belief system, their anything. So as Bill C9 was written, that is the approach that was taken to it. I can see it when you read it. It's clear that that's what is going on, because it's not only aimed at Muslims, it applies to all religions, including Christians. But you see, now what you have is the people on the Christian right and people on the conservative side, and certainly people on the 51st state side, are using this for political purposes. They're saying, look at what this liberal government has done. They've drafted this Bill C9, which is going to take your rights away. You've been the ones calling for the tougher laws, to take people's rights away, for tougher laws, more restrictive laws against religious speech. It's just that you want the law applied only to the one side. So the law has been written to apply across the board to all religions, including Christianity. And as a result of that, there's language in there that removes some freedom. And that includes freedoms for people on the Christian side. They don't like that. But I don't think if you're talking about this simply from in political terms, on the Canadian side, the Conservatives would have complained regardless of what the Liberals came up with. That's their job. They're going to criticize, complain, whine. They whine to complain to get the bill. Then they got the bill, and now it's not what they say it's not good enough or it's not written right. And that's all fair, too. And you can have ongoing discussion. Bill C-9, still not law. It has now passed all the stages. It's in the final stage in the Senate and is ready for final approval and maybe to go to royal assent. But there's still some debate ongoing about it. But it is being highlighted now, not for the purpose of trying to find some refinement in the language. It's being used and it's being ramped up online for political purposes to paint Canada as some totalitarian, censorious state where we, I guess, have to be invaded or something. That it's not even a legitimate state. We don't even have a constitution. That same rhetoric being used over and over again by the people who are just minions, tools of the 51st staters, in this case on the U.S. side. And of course, you've got this network going on. So as I'm seeing this kind of content being put forward by U.S. influencers, and, within the last couple of days, it's been Patrick Bet-David doing this through this broadcast, which then has been clipped. And now it's being latched onto by some of, conservative influencers up here in Canada who are now amplifying it again. And you know what I find very interesting? I can almost forgive these guys for making the statement about the Constitution not existing because they're Americans. They probably think we live in igloos, okay? But I've also been watching Canadian conservative influencers who are running that clip as part of their clips, criticizing Bill C-9. Fair enough, you can criticize the bill. I have no issue with that. Yeah, it could use some refinement for sure, and I'm not really comfortable with all the language in it myself. But get real. What's the real motivation here? It's not to help the country, and it's not to refine the bill. Because as they're running this clip, I haven't heard one of them stop and go, whoa, wait a minute. We do have a constitution. Not one of them. They just let it slide because it works better that way. So if you're not willing to defend, I don't care whether you're liberal, conservative, New Democrat, or the Cracker Cheese Party. I don't care. If you're Canadian and you're a Canadian influencer and you're talking every day about politics and somebody on the American side of the equation sits there and says that we don't have a constitution and you just let it slide, that's a pretty big omission. I have a hard time believing that these influencers are not aware that we have a constitution, yet they're political commentators. If they're letting it slide because they're not aware of Canada having a constitution, then I'd say they're not qualified to be commenting on anything. If you're a Canadian political commentator and you don't, say, wait a minute, that's kind of like any American political commentator, someone saying, well, the United States doesn't have a constitution. Excuse me? Could you imagine? Any of them saying that the United States doesn't have a constitution and just letting it slide? Oh, I guess maybe we don't have a constitution. What a bunch of bunk. If you see a Canadian political influencer ignoring a statement like that they are not only, that they are reusing as part of their political commentary, which forms the integral part of the entire commentary, then I would suggest to you that you might better use your time listening to somebody else. It's bloody ridiculous. It's so blatantly obvious at this point that this is just part of the ongoing effort to undermine confidence, trust, belief even in Canada as a nation state in order to disarm the country, get people upset, fill people full of misinformation, convince them all that we'd be much better off as a 51st state so that Mr. Trump can come up here and take whatever it is that he wants, either the whole country or maybe just Alberta oil, without firing a shot. That's what this is all about. And it's a global thing. It's happening in many countries around the world. Oh, he's just joking. Yeah, that's what you keep saying. That's what people keep saying. He's just joking. He's just joking. Tucker Carlson was just joking when he came up here and said he was coming to Canada to liberate the country, calling the Prime Minister's office. I don't think he's just joking. I said that right from the beginning. He's not joking. No. He's not joking. Oh, yeah, no, that's why he's repeating it.
What about Canada and Mexico? Canada has far more oil than the United States, far more fresh water than the United States. Canada is the fourth biggest oil reserves in the world. Our most critical ally on the globe is Canada, the country we ignore. Going forward, as American influence recedes to our hemisphere, what happens in Canada matters more than anything else. Maybe we should try to exert some influence on Canada, not necessarily by force, though by force if necessary. You could certainly make a regime change argument about Canada. Talk about a country that's oppressing its own citizens, killed almost 100,000 of them through its state-sponsored killing program, MAIDS. But if ever there was a people that needed liberation from a government that hates them, it's the Canadians, of course. But you could make a case based on self-interest and regional interest, even on decency, to have a lot more positive influence on the internal affairs. Canada's not a sovereign country. It never has been, ever. It's part of the British Commonwealth. It's never been sovereign, and there's no reason that it should be. It should be decent and well run for the benefit of its own citizens.
Excuse me, Linda. Shut the fuck up. Not you, Linda. That fucktard.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
I'm back. It ain't over. He hasn't given up. He still wants to make us the 51st state. He still wants Greenland. He still wants it all. It's all a part of his effort to create a new world order, which you think is coming from a different place, but it's coming straight from him. 100,000 people killed by the MAID program. Right. It's called euthanasia. It's about end-of-life questions. It is a painful thing that families deal with. It's a painful thing that individuals deal with at the end of life. And I've said this just in the last few weeks, that as they politicize the MAID program, which is obviously has a political component to it, but when it's exploited in this way, I think it's gross and disgusting. This video just coming out to highlight my point here. Within the last couple of days, not far from my hometown of London, Ontario, just up the highway, in a community called Tillsonburg. This is being portrayed as an elderly man, and some ages vary. Some people saying this guy is 102 years old. I don't think he's 102, but in any event, that's what this particular post is saying. Where police show up, OPP, Ontario Provincial Police, to take the man away, and he will never be seen or heard from again, because the police are showing up to take him away to kill him, have him killed through the MAID program. But his son is there refusing to let police in. This video going viral online. And it's not true. The circumstances, the details surrounding this not being accurately portrayed.
Dad, the police is here to take you away. Donna wants you to be taken away with the police.
It's a family dispute.
Okay, you can tell the police officer what you want.
Where you gonna put me?
Come here. Come closer. Come closer.
I just don't go and they throw me out.
No, I'm not opening the door. I told you that. What don't you understand? You can break the glass and take them by force. Well, then that's it. Yeah, I know the reason you're here. Because you have an order to extract them out of the house. Yeah.
I know my lawyer here.
Just hang on. What did you say?
My lawyer comes, I go.
You don't have a lawyer. He says if his lawyer comes, he'll talk to his lawyer.
My lawyer.
The judge overrides that decision by the lawyer.
Well, he's got capacity. He has capacity. Okay? So he can make his own decisions. There's no ruling that he doesn't have capacity. That's right.
The judge has kind of overridden all of our decisions.
Not his decision. Not his decision.
So what we'd like to do is have him come with us, and then Donna can just take him back.
No, that's not happening. Okay?
Why not?
Because he's got capacity. He wants to stay here. He wants to live here, and he wants to die here.
How do I know that that's the case? I can't even hear him say that.
Okay, you want to hear him say that? Okay, come here.
What?
Come on up here. Come on up.
Go ahead, John. What do you want?
Okay, that's the police. They want to take you away to the home.
Oh, no, I got no home, no place. I got here.
Well, I'm not opening the door. If you can't hear, then you got to break the glass.
I arrange. I arrange place mine to go to the old home. Myself, I don't need no help here or anything. I just on the way today to see where I gonna go and retire. Now it's my place and my sons, and we are all in peace. Got no problem. We working on and put everything in place what is supposed to be. We don't need policemen and everything. We're not fighting or anything at all. We're doing right way with the lawyers and whatever needed police, the police gonna be involved if the lawyer ask for it.
You're not willing to come see your daughter then?
I can't hear.
You're not willing to go see your daughter. You don't want to see Donna, right?
Donna, no. What for I see Donna? I arrange.
He said for what does he need to see Donna?
Well, she wants to see you.
Well, she can make an arrangement to come and see him, not with the police. She can come in a peaceful manner. We offered that. But we have a court order to extract them.
So, I didn't do nothing. Now police here, and I got a daughter and son that they look after me. When I need the police, I call them.
Okay.
I don't need any disturbance of police.
He doesn't want to see his daughter. His daughter deceived him.
Yeah, the daughter should be here. She's not here at the moment. No, I have to sit down.
Yeah, I'll just get him the chair.
Give me 1 sec, okay?
Yep.
Why nobody fights here? Why the police? We are doing call by the papers. Donna comes and we solve the problems.
So they're having a discussion right now of something.
Yeah, they are. We didn't do any harm, any damage.
I hope you can sort out your guys' things civilly, right?
Yeah, well, that's what we want. That's what we want. This man, he lived here for almost 70 years. He was taken with undue influence out of his home by my sister. She took his farm that's at the bottom of the hill, okay? 37 weeks after my mom died, okay? He went in the hospital 2 days after, okay? And then my sister took him out of the hospital, and I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't see him for almost 6 years. It's in the Court of Appeal right now. This matter.
What's the matter,
I'll show you just a second.
We want to go all by law.
No, you're not going anywhere,
We
John.
don't want any police pulling me around on top of it.
What does it say?
And it's an appeal, or you're appealing?
We're appealing it. This all happened so fast. Yes, we've been in court. Yes, we have. It's in the Court of Appeal.
That's the one we have. It's the same document we have.
Yeah, okay, so that was, but there's many documents. Yes, it's all in the court. It's in the Court of Appeal. It was March 30th. Okay, March. I don't have it on hand, but just hang on.
Hello? No.
There's a factum. Okay. That is,
you not see how this conversation would be much more civil?
I'm not letting you in. You're not coming in. Well, I'm not opening it. For what reason? To keep the peace. That's for what reason. I know you are. And we can keep the peace through the glass. Sure you can. I can see you. You can see me.
I can't read a document that you're trying to show me. How many pages is that? You're going to flip through and show me every page? Like, I'm trying to look at it. I'm trying to be civil with you, right?
Yeah?
I haven't been anything more than civil with
You want me to throw it out the window? Do you want to have me to throw it out the window? So you can read it.
That's what you want to do, but my point is I don't know why we can't have a civil conversation.
We are having a civil conversation. We are civil.
The glass door is open.
Well, so what?
What do you think the difference is if this glass door is open or not?
What's the difference? For my safety and my father's safety. You got guns. You got tasers. No, I don't trust a police officer with guns. I don't like guns. Guys that can pull their guns, pull their tasers, all of that stuff. Okay? I don't like it. I don't feel safe. You got guns. I don't have guns. Right? Well, I know there's a reason. You can use the guns and I can't. That's the reason.
So you want to throw that out the window for me then?
Okay.
What window are you?
Oh, just hang on. Give me a minute. Hmm? It's in the Court of Appeal.
Yeah, so when you appeal something...
Yeah, well, we appealed March 30th.
Okay, so I have a document after that, though, from a judge.
Right, exactly. How can we appeal something when we got served yesterday at after 5 o'clock?
That's what I'm trying to ask you. You're saying it's an appeal. It's not. I have a document saying it's not right now. So you don't have anything after that.
Not after that, no. How can we? How can we? It's in a Good Friday. Okay. It's in appeal, and we ask for a stay until all this can be heard all at once.
Because I have a document after that. So I was asking if you had...
Who denied it? The JP denied that the Court of Appeal? So he's overruling the Court of Appeal? Yeah, that's right. So what's it say? Well, I can hear you. I can hear. That's right. Does it say he overrides the Court of Appeal? That's right. Well, you come break the glass and remove them. Well, I know, but I'm telling you that's what you're going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do. Listen, he doesn't want to go. You're going against his will. Does a judge override his will? How do you know he's not in the right sound of mind? Well, maybe the judge is lying. That's right, maybe. And it has to be challenged. It's not often? Why don't you just talk to him? Does he look like a guy with severe dementia? You've heard more than 2 words. Now you're lying. Listen.
I didn't ask any help.
He doesn't ask for any assistance whatsoever. And we are having one. That's right. You can have one through the glass. Well, that's not my problem. Then come back another time when the wind has died down. No, I don't.
I can't hear anything he says. I hear you regurgitating. I don't know what he's saying.
Well, then you have to come back at another time. Then we'll get a loudspeaker.
What would you like a warrant and then ask for breach glass? And
That's right. Exactly. Get a warrant. That's right. We're going to show what the police really does to a man that has capacity. That's right, and you can speak. How come we can hear each other? What's it matter how old I am?
You have like airway, lungs, you can speak loud, right? 102 years old is a little difficult, I'm saying. If you were 102 years old, do you think you'd have the capacity to speak loud and yell? I'm raising my voice. I'm not having a simple conversation. I have to raise my voice through glass.
Well, then get a PA system. When you come in, you got one of them, right? No, but I can get one. You come back at another time. You tell me when you're coming, and then we'll have a conversation through the glass that you can hear. Well, you're going to have it through the glass.
Even if we just take this out of the picture and we talk about a visit with Donna so we can have a conversation with Donna, why are we...
Well, go and talk to Donna if she's down there. Go talk to her.
I don't need your permission to have a conversation with
I know that. But you're telling me that you want a conversation with Donna. Well, go talk to her. Come here. Come here, closer. I take that a chouse.
Yeah, what do you want?
Come on. Stand up. I take Shala Stikla. Okay?
So what is all about? What is all about?
Are you Jonas?
Are you Jonas?
I'm Jonas Veritis.
Okay. Do you understand why...
I can't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear me.
I can't hear him.
Probably because of the glass.
Yeah, probably because of glass. So, get a warrant, break the glass, come in and get him. I am. You said you can't... Well, talk to him. Don't talk to me. You want to talk to him.
I didn't call the police. Why the police here for?
Why is it... Did you hear that?
I didn't call. We didn't disturb any peace out. We are on the peace here.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We are on the peace together. That's my son. He never hurt me. And why the police?
You know why he can't... You know why you can't hear him? Because my sister failed to provide him with hearing aids. Okay?
No, I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We will have to sort this out another time, I guess, if you're not going to be civil enough to have a conversation.
I am civil. No, I am. That's your opinion.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's right. I do. So we'll get something to amplify.
Yeah. Yeah. And
okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I don't have any questions. You too.
I didn't hear any talk specifically about MAID in that exchange. What we're involved with there is we've been thrust into the middle as viewers, observers, in some sort of family dispute with regard to the way an elderly man is to be cared for. A family matter, which is being amplified on social media for some reason and shot by, I guess, the son or a relative and posted online. And we don't have all of the details. We don't know what all of the information is. But the social media posts that can continue to share that video are saying it's all about MAID and they're just coming to take the guy away so that he can be killed by MAID. I don't know what all the details are. I know that when Tucker Carlson just throws out a number like 100,000 people killed through the MAID program, yeah, well, I have issues, as many of you know, with the MAID program. I don't like a lot of things about it. The reality is, the vast majority of those people who've gone through the MAID program are at end of life. They're very ill. many in hospice, suffering from diseases, cancer. Cause of death, MAID. Reason for MAID, that right at the end of life, there's no chance that they're going to live. Not everybody that goes through the program is in that exact situation. There are some issues that I have with the program. But to suggest that Canada is just a genocidal, murderous nation that is trying to depopulate the country through the MAID program is a gross exaggeration and just, in many respects, gross, because they're exploiting and distorting the situation and the stories for political purposes to, again, undermine trust in government and institutions, to make you hate your country. And these same issues are in play in the United States as well, to varying degrees in other countries all around the world. Canada just happens to be out on the, at the forefront of this issue right now globally. But it's not something unique specifically to Canada. We just happen to be on that leading edge of the issue. And depending on which side you're on, you get emotional one way or the other. Or maybe just get angry, period. Both sides getting angry about it. I've debated about sharing more of my personal story with you, my personal journey. Maybe I will. Maybe I will if it really becomes necessary, or if I feel I have to, in order to put things into fuller context for people, for better understanding, to serve the greater interest. But it's personal, man. Just as it is for that elderly gentleman, I guess that's his son, for his daughter. They're involved in some sort of a family dispute that has become a legal dispute that is involving the cops. The cops caught in the middle, just like I'm caught in the middle, just like you're caught in the middle, but you're being manipulated, and they're trying to manipulate me, or they're trying to manipulate you, these social media posters. We're taking what really is a private matter that a family member has turned into a public matter for reasons unknown. But it is certainly having the effect of undermining trust in government, institutions, and police, who have now issued this.
The Ontario Provincial Police is aware of a video circulating on social media in relation to the enforcement of a police enforceable court order involving an elderly individual in Norwich Township. On Friday, April 3rd, Oxford County OPP officers attended a residence under the authority of a valid court order in relation to a family dispute involving the care of an elderly individual. At this time, no enforcement action has been taken. Police involvement in this matter is strictly limited to enforcing a court order and ensuring the safety and well-being of all involved. The OPP recognizes the emotional and challenging nature of family-related disputes involving the care of elderly individuals. Officers remain committed to acting impartially, lawfully, and with compassion, while respecting the authority of the courts. The OPP is also aware of misinformation circulating online. To be clear, the court order is not related to, nor does it involve, Canada's Medical Assistance in Dying legislation, MAID. Police do not have any role in authorizing, administering, or facilitating MAID. Any comments or claims suggesting otherwise are completely false. The OPP urges the public to refrain from speculation due to the sensitive legal and personal circumstances. As this matter involves private individuals, the OPP will not provide further details. The OPP does not issue or amend court orders, and questions regarding the legal authority of a court order should be directed to the Ministry of the Attorney General. Everyone, I'm Sergeant Ed Sanchuk. Please make sure you take care, stay safe, go safe to your families, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
So yeah, man, I'm not going to pass judgment. I don't know what's going on there, really. Either do you. And I think some of these people sharing it and posting this stuff, They're adding information to lead us down a road to come to a conclusion that may or may not be true. There's a lot of pain there for a lot of people, man. And we need to be sensitive to that and not just turn this into some sort of entertainment. And that's what politics has become, especially in the era of the age of Trump. It has become entertainment. He's like, yeah, P.T. Barnum. Only he's also part of the sideshow, or a sideshow, as part of a bigger show. It's all a big show. But these are real lives, real people, real death in these wars. There's reality around all of this. They've turned this into a show, though. Got to remember that this is real stuff. It impacts people in real ways. And I don't want to be used. I'm not a pawn. I refuse to be used as one in Donald Trump's chess game. Tell you this, I mean, it absolutely is. It's a show. Have you seen the story? There's this ongoing story, and this may be offensive to some people, so viewer discretion advised. This involves a grandmother in Alabama. No dictators. I'm going to take a break just because we need a break after the heaviness of that sad video involving that elderly man. And I'm going to take a break, come back with something that's lighter and yet still pretty damn serious. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, you've been warned. Okay, this has a phallic symbol in it. So if that kind of thing offends you, just be forewarned. You may want to cover your eyes. This involves a protest, and there's now a court case that is ongoing. A new court date just about to come up, and it's out of Alabama. There's a video showing, this whole incident involving an arrest of a female penis. I'm sorry. Female penis. How can that be a thing? This is a grandmother who's going to trial for dressing like in a penis costume at a protest in Alabama. Here's how it went down. Starts with no audio off the top. Bring it all the way back to the beginning. No audio. Audio comes on in just a moment. Gonna run the whole thing just like I did the other video, so you get the whole thing unedited. Here's the cop. This is a cop.
Serious as a heart attack. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. If my kids had to come by and see this, how would you explain it to them?
Are you recording?
I am recording. I'm recording right here. I am telling you right now, if my kids had to come by and see this, I would like to hear how you would explain to my children what you're supposed to be.
What a pun is?
I want you.
Understand what a pun is?
Let me get another unit over here. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me why.
Being detained? If not, I'm going to go ahead and go this way.
I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. Turn over. On your belly. On your belly. On your belly. I told her to take it off. Give me your arm. Give me your arm.
She's gonna take it off.
Give me your arm.
Take it off, baby.
I want your arm now. I need somebody. Give me your arm now.
She was walking away.
I told her to take it off.
And what ordinance was she in violation of?
It's disorderly conduct.
You could not cite.
It's disorderly conduct.
I checked.
All right, grab this arm.
Walking away. Trying to get away from you. Trying to behave.
Got it. Yep.
15 seconds as he was walking away.
This is the last call.
Other arm. Let me have your other arm. Thank you.
Just to be accurate.
This is a family town, and I'm not going to have somebody out here dressed like this. You understand? This isn't abusive.
That's a 7-foot tall penis, by the way.
Hey, back up. Give us some space.
All right. Ready?
She's not breaking the
All right, hold on. This way. This way. Bring your knees up. Bring your knees up.
Knees up.
Knees up. And then you're going to sit up. Ready? Sit up. Stand up. Stand up. All right. Come on. I would hate for her grandkids to see her like this.
Her grandkid helped put that on her.
That's a shame. Come on, have a seat. Watch your step.
I can't see anything.
Now, I'd like for her to take this off.
I know. They can't seem to cite an ordinance. They never can.
There you are. Can you see me? Okay.
Now I can.
Sit back. Sit back. Now, what you're going to do...
That's as high as my butt goes.
I understand.
And
Look.
it's cramping my leg.
I know. Listen to me. We're kind of having to fight this suit. So I want you to sit back. You're going to... This leg right here. You feel my leg right here?
Okay.
I want you to raise this leg until it's on mine. There you go. And then you're going to slide straight back in, okay?
Oh, can somebody pull me in? I can't slide because my hands are fixing to bleed from these things.
Stand up.
Excuse me.
Okay, stand straight up. I get it.
You might try
walk over here. All right, come with me.
She can't fit. She can't get it. She's too big.
Hey, you roll that up.
Oh, this is too stupid. This is just... Oh, on every level, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
I can go to the other side. We might do it.
Oh, God. Oh, it's awful. It's just terrible.
Hey, I need you to get back, okay? I need you to get back. Okay? I need you to get back. All right, step in. Pick up your foot. There you go. Step in.
My hands! I am an ASL interpreter and my hands are killing me.
Turn around. Turn around. Scoot back in. Scoot back in. Scoot back in.
I am trying.
He's going to help you. The officer's going to help you.
I can't. I can't.
You got to get this suit off. Yep. All right. We're going to get the suit out. Come on, step
Can
out.
my person get my suit off?
No, we're going to take it off of you. Come on, step out.
Take the suit off.
right, uncover. All right. Uncover and let's take the suit off.
Okay. Y'all mind backing up first, please?
So they've not done anything.
I'm gonna take these hands off. Okay? That's fine. We're gonna get legal. I got you. You can stand over at the sidewalk right now. You cannot stand this close.
Why not?
Again, for officer safety reasons, you guys gotta back up.
I'm her husband.
Okay,
Stay right here. Don't move. Okay.
Back up to the sidewalk right now, please.
All right. Got the handcuffs off. You're gonna take this off.
What's your name?
Aunt Tifa.
Aunt Tifa, can you tell me where the zipper to this is?
It's in the bag.
Okay. Aunt Tifa, I'm not trying to be difficult with you, ma'am. I'm trying to...
Aunt Tifa.
No, I'm not trying to violate your freedom of speech. I'm trying to preserve a town that has values. All right, put your head down. Put your head down. We'll come over the top. Put your head down.
I got in. Let me put that.
Okay, all right. You're exactly right.
All right. Then drop past your feet,
Right.
okay?
Pull your feet out.
We're right here, Buffalo. Right,
Pull your feet out.
Step out of it.
Pull your feet out.
Oh, wait. What is that? My American flag shoes. What? I'm an American? I'm an American. Who knew?
Hurry up.
Who knew? I have rights. Who knew?
All right. No, leave that there. We'll take it. Step
We'll
over.
grab it. All right.
You're going to take my property
Put them.
too?
All right, turn around.
Hey, put them on the front. Put them on the front. They're on the front. Hands in the front.
Fairhope. In Fairhope, a single tax colony that children have been cheering me on. I walked from Subway.
No child's going to cheer you on dressed like a wiener.
Yes, they did.
That's because they're children and they're as immature as you are.
Yeah, Cat, this is so incredibly dumb. It's so...
All right, y'all meet me up at the gym. All right.
Hey, Mom, I arrested a penis.
They arrested a female penis. Does that make her transgender?
10:15. I'll be transporting one female to the jail starting miles 97130.
Transporting a penis to jail.
Unit 165 joint call.
21 will meet them up there. Do not come into the street. It is illegal to come into the street. Do not come into the street. It is illegal to come into the street. Do not step into the street. It is illegal to step into the street. Do not come into the street. It is illegal to step into the street. Hey, y'all make sure not to come into the road, okay? Just don't come in the road. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's what we like.
So, yeah.
Thank you. That's the ticket.
This lady, her name is Renee Gamble. Okay? She's, I think, 62 years old. This guy's serious as a heart attack. Makes me arrest. It's funny. It's also serious, though. It is an issue now of free speech. It is going to court. She was charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. It didn't look like she was resisting so much. It's just they needed a little more lubrication to get her into the back, and then she was released on $500 bond. They had a community-wide vote on a local radio station, as I understand it, for the Alabamian of the Year, and the inflatable Fairhope protest penis won hands down with the most votes. But this is still ongoing. They haven't dropped the matter. The city's still pursuing. I mean, I guess the community, the city attorney, has slapped down additional charges, disturbing the peace, giving a false name. She said her name was Aunt Tifa, A-U-N-T, Aunt Tifa. That got her an extra charge. If I could be in court when that goes when the case was heard. I don't know how the lawyers are all going to keep straight faces with this. Some people take it pretty darn seriously, though. Some people are pretty upset with this lady saying that they wouldn't trust her around children and...
What up?
What happened?
Well, one dressed like a friggin' wiener. Come up and she's wearing a big gigantic penis costume and is like, hey, look, you got to take that off. And she was like, take what off? My, freedom of speech or whatever. And I said, that's not freedom of speech. I said, man, this is a family town. And I said, and being dressed like that's not going to be tolerated. I said, it's disorderly conduct. I said, you're setting an example that doesn't need to be set. I said, if my kids were to come by here and see that, what would they, I said, how would you explain it to them? And she said, I'd explain to them that we don't have kings. And I said, that's not what I'm talking about, and you know it. And I said, I need you to take the outfit off. And she went to turn around, walk off, and I said, no, ma'am. I said, come here, I need to talk to you. And she pulled away from me, so I grabbed her and put her on the ground.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. See, and I don't ultimately think that the charges are specifically related to obscenity or anything like that. So the charges are all kind of related to like disorderly conduct and and things like that. But I don't know if it'll stick. I don't know where those legal arguments are liable to go. Complicated case, to say the least. What are you guys saying about this over in the chat on Rumble? Dragon says that's a joyride, eh? Oh my God, I'm not, Jubilee, I am not repeating what you said. I'm not reading that one on the air. Charged for being a dick, literally. That's right. That's hilarious, CBC's Brown. It says charged for being a dick, literally. Lindy says bogus charges. Oh, for crying out loud. I don't know, man. I think it's funny. I just do. There's lots worse things out there than that in the world, for sure. I just don't know. What a strange, bizarre freaking time. Talk about an era where truth is like I guess that's true. Police arrest female penis. Yeah. Anyway, do you feel like you're being told the truth? I don't know. I had one other thing that I was going to share with you tonight. Maybe I'll save it. I think on that note, maybe, is that enough? Is that enough for one night? Gets us to the bottom of the hour, too. I think that's probably sufficient for this evening. I'll save the rest for tomorrow. As we try to get you all closer to the truth. Well, we're all in Trump's New World Order, living the lie. Here's that new song to close things off tonight. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 1 hour before Donald Trump's deadline, ultimatum for Iran tomorrow night. So we'll be living that in real time. On the flip side.
Welcome to the Matrix. Scrolling all night, chasing the high. Everything's fake, psychedelic sky. They said you're free, that's the game. Different screen, always the same. You are what you believe, that's the key. Lock your mind, lose reality. If you believe it, it comes alive. Truth gets buried, nobody survives. The world is watching, brains are washing. Living the lie, glazed over eyes, hypnotized. Story louder now. Truth gets lost inside the crowd. Think you're awake, it's in your head. Different cage, dream is dead. The world is watching, brains are washing. Living the lie, glazed over eyes, hypnotized, zombified. Living the lie, no way to hide. Truth denied. Switch it off, take back your mind. Living the lie. Break it down, shut it out, turn it off right now. Break the screen, cut the fade, take back what you need. Living the lie, glazed over eyes, hypnotized. Zombified, living the lie, too tired to fight. Wake up now, take it back tonight. Living the lie, living the lie. No more. Exit the Matrix.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.